Hello and welcome, dear viewers. Today's video is all about spine-tingling suspense and eerie encounters. We're delving into the world of gas station horror stories, where shadows hold secrets and lost souls wander. Get ready for a chilling experience that will leave you breathless. Let's dive in. Whispering shadows. The rain poured relentlessly as Jake's car sputtered to a halt beside an old, decrepit gas station. The eerie glow of the flickering sign welcomed him like an invitation to the unknown. With a sigh, he grabbed his coat and stepped out into the night. The air was thick with an unsettling stillness as Jake approached the gas station. The windows were smeared with dirt and grime, casting an unsettling distortion on the pale light inside. The wooden door creaked open, and a gust of wind carried a whispering echo that seemed to say, "Stay away." As Jake entered, the dim overhead lights cast eerie shadows that danced on the floor. The scent of dampness and rust lingered in the air. The attendant behind the counter was an elderly man, his eyes hollow and distant. "Evening," Jake greeted, hoping to break the silence. The old man stared at him, his lips curling into a half-smile. "Stormy night to be out, son. Just need some gas," Jake replied, his unease growing. As the pump clunked and the gas flowed, a chill ran down Jake's spine. He turned to see the old man had moved closer, his pale face inches away from Jake's. "They say this place ain't what it seems," the man rasped. Jake's heart raced. "What do you mean?" The old man's eyes seemed to pierce through him. "Shadows move here, whispers never cease. Lost souls trapped in between." A nervous chuckle escaped Jake's lips. "You're quite the storyteller." The old man's face twisted into an eerie grin, revealing missing teeth. "Find out for yourself, young one. Spend a night if you dare." With a brisk nod, Jake paid and left, the old man's unsettling laughter echoing behind him. That night, curiosity got the better of him. Jake returned to the gas station with a sleeping bag and a flashlight. The wind howled outside as he settled in, the dim light revealing flickering shadows that seemed to whisper secrets. Suddenly, a figure appeared at the window. A shadowy silhouette with hollow eyes. "Join us," it hissed. Jake's heart pounded as he stumbled back, the flashlight falling from his hand. He heard faint whispers surrounding him, growing louder and more menacing. "No," he gasped, his voice trembling. "Leave me alone." The shadows advanced, encircling him. His heart raced faster, and he could swear he saw faces forming within the darkness. As the first light of dawn broke through, the shadows retreated, leaving Jake huddled in fear. He grabbed his things and fled the gas station, never looking back. The vanishing attendant. On a moonlit night, Emily found herself driving on a desolate highway, low on fuel. Spotting a lone gas station, she pulled over, the tires crunching on the gravel. The place was eerily quiet, the air heavy with an unexplainable tension. Emily stepped into the dimly lit gas station, its flickering lights casting a macabre dance on the floor. The attendant behind the counter was an elderly man with gnarled hands. "Evening, miss," he greeted with a slow, unsettling smile. "Can I get some gas, please?" Emily asked, trying to ignore the unease that crept up her spine. As the pump clicked and the gas flowed, Emily glanced around. Shelves were lined with dusty cans and faded magazines. A flicker of movement caught her eye, a reflection in the mirror that vanished when she turned around. "You seeing things, miss?" the attendant asked, his voice laced with a peculiar edge. Emily forced a smile. "Just tired, I guess." As she paid and turned to leave, the man's tone grew somber. "Beware the darkness. It takes what it wants." Outside, Emily's heart raced as she thought about the attendant's words. She considered leaving, but decided to stay the night in her car. Restless hours passed, and Emily's eyes grew heavy. Suddenly, a tap on the window jolted her awake. It was the attendant, his eyes wide and terrified. "You need to leave now. They're coming." "Who's coming?" Emily stammered, panic rising. The old man's gaze shifted, and Emily followed it to the shadows that seemed to grow darker and more malevolent. Figures emerged, twisted and contorted, with hollow eyes fixed on her. With a scream, Emily slammed her foot on the gas pedal and sped away, leaving the gas station behind. But the images of those grotesque figures lingered, haunting her dreams for nights to come. The haunting fuel stop. Sarah's car sputtered to a stop in front of a rundown gas station on a desolate stretch of road. The atmosphere was heavy, as if the air itself held a sense of foreboding. Ignoring her instincts, she stepped out and approached the station. Inside, the flickering lights illuminated shelves stocked with dusty snacks and faded magazines. The attendant was a young woman with hollow eyes and a distant expression. "Need fuel?" she asked, her voice as lifeless as her gaze. "Yes, please," Sarah replied, her unease growing. As the pump whirred to life, the young woman spoke, her tone vacant. "They come at night, you know, the ones lost in the dark." Sarah glanced around, feeling a chill run down her spine. "Who comes?" The young woman's lips twitched into a faint smile. "You'll see." After paying, Sarah hesitated. "Is there a motel nearby?" The young woman nodded toward a distant building. "Sleep if you dare." As the moon rose, casting an eerie glow, Sarah found herself unable to resist the temptation to explore the old motel. Inside, the air was thick with decay, and the walls seemed to whisper secrets long forgotten. In one room, she found an old diary with entries describing encounters with ghostly figures that left the author tormented. Goosebumps prickled Sarah's skin as she read about the gas station and its haunting history. Unable to shake off the feeling that she was being watched, Sarah returned to her car and locked herself in. Hours passed, and just as she began to doze off, a tapping sound echoed on her window. Startled, she turned to see pale faces pressed against the glass, their eyes hollow and filled with longing. "Help us," they whispered in unison. With a scream, Sarah started the car and sped away from the gas station and motel. But the haunting visages remained etched in her memory, a chilling reminder of the night she encountered the lost souls of the gas station. The Silent Reflection. Amelia was on a road trip alone, miles away from civilization, when her fuel gauge plummeted to empty. An old gas station emerged from the desolate landscape like a mirage. The air was thick with an unsettling stillness as she pulled up to the rusted pump. Inside, the station seemed abandoned. The lights flickered, casting eerie shadows on the cracked linoleum floor. A rustling from the corner caught her attention. Rows of faded magazines inexplicably shuffled by themselves. "Hello?" Amelia called out, her voice wavering in the heavy silence. A figure emerged from the shadows, a man in old-fashioned attire, his face hidden behind a worn hat. "Evening, miss," he whispered, his voice a mere breath. "I need gas," Amelia stammered, unnerved by the man's presence. As the pump filled her tank, the man's gaze remained fixed on her. "Beware reflections," he murmured, his eyes holding a secret she couldn't fathom. Amelia paid quickly and rushed back to her car, her heart pounding. In her rearview mirror, she saw the reflection of the man, his face now visible, a visage of sorrow and longing. Uneasy, she continued her journey, stopping at a motel for the night. As she brushed her teeth, she caught a glimpse of the mirror, a reflection that didn't mimic her movements. Frozen in fear, she watched as the man from the gas station stepped out of the mirror, his hand reaching toward her. She fled the room, leaving her belongings behind. The gas station's warning echoed in her mind as she drove, the image of the man in the mirror haunting her every thought. As we conclude this spine-chilling journey through gas station horrors, a shiver lingers. These tales remind us of the enigmatic and eerie, just beyond our understanding. Remember, the darkness holds more than meets the eye. Thank you for joining us. Stay curious, stay cautious. Until next time, may your nights be less haunted. Goodbye.